Hello, welcome back to my channel. I'm Bill. This video is going to be a continuation of the Prestige class videos. We're in the Tome and Blood from 3rd edition. It has all the spellcasting Prestige classes for arcane spellcasters. We're going to look at the Blood Magus in this video. So we will go over the requirements to become a Blood Magus. Then we'll go over the hit points, the skill points that it gains, if there's any weapon or armor proficiency changes. After that, we will go into the table as it's outlaid on base attack, saves, specials, any spell continuations. After that, we'll then go and dig into whatever was listed on that table under special and read it in detail. So, Candlecaster. Blood Magus. And the illustration for the Blood Magus is the coolest illustration ever. You can jump into one person and out somebody else. It's one of your abilities. So, to become a Blood Magus, you need to be non-lawful. You have to have the heal skill 4 ranks. You have to have the feat toughness. You have to have this ability to cast 3rd level arcane spells or higher. And then you must meet the special requirement. You must have been revived after death through another's use of raised dead, resurrection, or other methods of returning life to a dead body. So if your character has died and been brought back to life, you qualify. Skills. It has all the standard skills for a spellcaster. You would get 2 plus your intelligence modifier every time you gain a level of Blood Magus. Your hit dice is a d4. You gain no new weapon or armor proficiencies for becoming a Blood Magus. Okay, so Blood Magus, your base attack bonus for the Blood Magus starts at 0. And by 10th level will be a +5. Your reflex and will saves are your lowest saves. They start at a +0. At 10th level, they'll be a +3. So if I'm comparing this, the amount of spellcasting you need to be about 5th level wizard, 6th level sorcerer to enter this class. So you'd be adding your saves and your base attack bonus to a 5th or 6th level spellcaster. Now your fortitude save's your best save. It starts at a +2 and will end at a +7. Spells per day. Every even level of this prestige class, you gain +1 of your existing spellcasting class as far as your spells per day go. So half your levels in Blood Magus count towards spellcasting. So you would be at 15th level, so max out this and be 5th level wizard. At 15th level, you'd be as powerful spell-wise as a 10th level wizard. So keep that in mind when you select this prestige class. At 1st level, you gain blood component and stanch. At 2nd level, you gain scarification. At 3rd level, you gain death kneel. At 4th level, you gain blood drought or draught. At 5th level, you gain infusion. At 6th level, you gain gore. At 7th level, you gain thicker than water. At 8th level, you get awakened blood. At 9th level, you get a homunculus. At 10th level, you get blood walk. So, blood component. A Blood Magus may substitute a drop of his own blood for a spell's material component, if any. The pinprick or minor knife cut to draw the requisite blood is a free action that becomes a normal part of casting the spell. The Magus does not need to make a concentration check to complete the spell, despite the wound. Using this ability deals the Blood Magus 1 point of damage, but raises the spell's save DC by 1. So in turn, you get a higher save DC. I would probably increase the save DC by 2 for Pathfinder. Substitute blood for a costly material component requires drawing a greater amount. The Blood Magus deals more damage to himself when doing so, according to the table below. If the component costs 1 to 50 gold, it'll take 5 damage to substitute blood for the component. If it's 51 to 300 gold, 11 damage to substitute blood for the component. If it's 301 to 750 gold, 17 damage needs to be taken to substitute for the component. If it's 750 gold or higher, should say 751 gold or higher, you need to take 23 damage, and that's the max of this table. 23 damage would be the max damage you would take to substitute for the material component, which means you could substitute that for the gem required for a wish spell and cast a wish spell, assuming you had the spell slots and whatnot. Stanch. The Blood Magus automatically stabilizes his wounds whenever his hit points drop below 0. He still passes on if he reaches -10 hit points or below. So if you automatically stabilize, that means if you're just dropped into anywhere in the negatives, you're not going to bleed out. Scarification. At 2nd level, the Blood Magus learns to inscribe spells on his own skin for later use. This involves deeply scratching the skin, which deals no damage but often leaves scars. The scratches remain fresh until the inscribed spell is cast, at which time the minor wounds heal normally. Effectively, the Blood Magus gains the Scribe Scroll feat using alternative medium. All rules, XP cost, and expenses that apply to Scribe Scroll also apply to this ability. Likewise, reading a scar follows the same rules as reading a scroll, but only the Blood Magus can decipher his own scars. One's own skin leaves a limited amount of room to easily inscribe and later read magical scars. Thus, the Blood Magus can only have 6 active scars at any one time. Death Knell. At 3rd level, the Blood Magus gains the spell-like ability to use Death Knell as a spell once per day. I would probably increase that. You gain it at 3rd level. I'd say every 3 levels you get an extra use of it. At least for Pathfinder. Blood Drought. At 4th level, the Blood Magus learns how to store spells up to 3rd level in his own blood. Effectively, he gains the Brew Potion feat using an alternative medium. All rules, XP cost, and expenses that apply to Brew Potion also apply to this ability, with the following exceptions. Once brewed, a blood drought remains in circulation within the Magus's body. The maximum number of droughts stored at one time is equal to his level of Blood Magus plus his Constitution score. But if he is ever slain, they are all immediately ruined. Even if the Blood Magus is substantially returned to life, blood droughts are never accidentally lost through major blood loss or by a draining attack. To consume the drought, the Blood Magus pricks his skin and automatically brings forth the desired effect. Infusion. At 5th level, the Blood Magus prepares a special one-time distillation of his own blood. Partaking of the infusion, he permanently gains 2 points of Constitution. I'd probably allow him to do that again at 10th level. Do that at every 5 levels. Gore. At 6th level, the Blood Magus can draw more blood with any spell that successfully damages a living target. This is supernatural ability. The Blood Magus inflicts a minor wound on himself with the pinprick or a knife cut as a free action that becomes the normal part casting spell. Using the spell, it deals Blood Magus 1 point of damage. The spell becomes Blood Seeking and deals 1d6 points of damage in addition to the damage the spell normally deals, as extra blood is drawn from the wound. The magus does not need to make a concentration check to complete the spell. Thicker than water. At 7th level, the blood magus' vital fluids are partially under his conscious control. When the blood magus is injured, his blood withdraws from the wound, preventing some damage. Thus, he always takes one less point of damage than normally indicated. Effectively, the blood magus gains hardness of 1. Awakened blood. At 8th level, the blood magus gains the supernatural ability to bestow momentary consciousness on an opponent's blood. Once per day, he can make a melee touch attack against a living foe. If he hits, the opponent's blood attempts to get free at all at once. The hydrostatic pressure disrupts the victim's tissue, dealing 10d10 points of damage. If he misses, the blood magus can try again until he is successful against an opponent. Conscious blood returns to its natural state after 1 round. Homunculus. At 9th level, the blood magus uses his own blood to give life to a new companion creature, a homunculus. The homunculus, created by a blood magus, has the same abilities as those on page 120 of the monster manual, but is more robust. It has 6 hit dice. Its bite attack improves to +5. Its fortitude save increases to +2. Its reflex save to +4, and its will save to +3. And then it gives you how to build a homunculus, which is usually stated under how a homunculus comes to be in the monster manual. I'm not sure which bestiary, if it is in a bestiary in Pathfinder. Otherwise, just Google homunculus from 3rd edition D&D. Bloodwalk. At 10th level, the blood magus is perfectly attuned to the song of blood. He gains the supernatural ability to transport himself great distances via blood of living creatures. Once per day, as a standard action, he can seamlessly enter any living creature whose side equals or exceeds his own and pass any distance to another living creature in a single round. Regardless of the distance separating the two, the blood magus merely designates a direction and distance, a living creature 20 miles due west of here, and the bloodwalk ability transports him to a destination creature as close as possible to the desired location. He can't specify a named individual as the endpoint unless he has previously obtained a sample of that creature's blood, preserved in a small vial that must be carried on the blood magus's person. The entry and destination creature need not be familiar to the blood magus, but they must be alive and possessing their blood in their veins. Thus, plants and more bizarre outsiders are not eligible targets. The blood magus may not use himself as an entry creature. If the intended entry creature is unwilling, he must hit with a melee touch attack to enter. When exiting a creature, the blood magus can chooses an adjacent square in which to appear. Entering and leaving the creature is painless unless the blood magus wishes otherwise. In most cases, though, the destination creature finds being the endpoint of the magical portal surprising and quite unsettling. If he desires, the blood magus can attempt to make a bloody exit from the destination creature. If the creature fails a fortitude save, DC 18, the existing blood magus takes on solidity a little too soon. He bursts forth explosively from the creature's body, dealing 16d6 points of damage. The blood magus must succeed a fortitude save, DC equal to 13, or take 2d4 points of damage from the shock of his exit. Except where noted above, this class feature resembles the Dryad's ability to move from tree to tree. I would probably make Bloodwalk more available to the Blood Magus, since you only get it at 10th level. I would probably make it 1 time per day plus his Constitution bonus. So it wouldn't make it like super big, but it'd be more than one use in a day. Especially since his spellcasting would only be about 10th level spellcaster by the time he's here. So about 5th to 6th level spell, somewhere in there, is the maximum spells you'd have access to at that level. So that's what I would do differently. I'd probably give him a bonus feat with the homunculus, because the homunculus by itself is not that great of a thing. And those are some of the changes I'd make to this class to make it more appropriate for a Pathfinder game. Well, that's the Blood Magus. If y'all have seen a Blood Magus played, let me know. If this is an entertaining prestige class for you, let me know. Well, until we all game again, guys.